Playing with the New York Phil was inspiring and intimidating in a way because, you know, it's the New York Philharmonic. And up until this point, I've only ever played with student orchestras. So, you know, the first time walking on stage on Avery Fisher and, like, you know, seeing my seat next to the other members of the trumpet section, it was so unreal for me. I probably, you know, I couldn't stop smiling the entire time. You know, I was so excited. Yeah, I mean, the way they all play together, they listen, you know, it's so much better than any other orchestra that I've played with. So it was pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, when I prepared for the audition, I really made sure that I was getting all the character that I wanted, you know, because I knew just playing and sounding good wouldn't be enough, you know, so, and I figured there was no way to really get it unless I put 100% into it. So on the stage, you know, when I was playing, the only thing I was thinking about was playing as exciting and as different as I could, you know, to really set myself apart. And I just happened to have, you know, a really great audition, technically as well, you know. So I left and I felt really good about it. You know, I felt like I really went and put my best foot forward. So. Yeah, I had 2 lessons, you know, one with Ethan Bensdorf and one with Matt Mucky. They're both very different, you know, but I got a lot from both people. You know, it was just Ethan's his whole concept is all about, you know, being overt with the music, you know, being kind of way over the top, overly expressive, because it never comes across that way. And, you know, Matt was very much just a little more middle of the road, but very, very fun and approachable. You know, I mean, I worked on excerpts with both of them, and, you know, both had different but similar things to say. You know, and I learned so much from studying with both. It was great. It pushes me to be on my best game all the time, you know. So when I constantly have, you know, a lot of performances and, you know, the master classes and lessons and concerts and everything, I have to be at a very high level 100% of the time. And, or, you know, figure out how to keep myself at that level when I am not there, you know, because everyone has bad days and ups and downs and stuff. So I think just, you know, having a lot of high pressure situations at the Music Academy made playing with the New York Phil that much easier. You know, it wasn't, because I was on a low pressure part, you know, I was playing one of the lower parts on Swan Lake, and it wasn't stressful, you know, it was just exciting. And I think, you know, it's because I've had so much experience playing, like, very stressful concerts, you know, so yeah, it really helped. I'd performed that trio before. You know, I played the Poulenc trio with Colin Williams and Richard Dean. They're both, you know, incredible players. I mean, obviously, it was really interesting to play with them because I'd only played it with student ensembles up until that point. You know, and they were great student ensembles, but the way they played was so much different. And they actually, I think because they'd played it so long, they had a tough time kind of seeing where I was coming from in the way I played it, you know? And it was really interesting to kind of see that. Like, the stuff that they were doing, I'd never thought about before, and, you know, vice versa. Like, I did some things that they're like, oh, you know, that's pretty neat. Yeah, so, I mean, rehearsing with them was really fun, and I was shocked how approachable they were. You know, they weren't like, oh, we're in the New York Philharmonic, you know, you're some little student, you know, we're just doing this because we have to. They were, you know, very genuine, you know. You know, we got food together sometimes, you know, and extremely helpful. You know, anytime I had questions, you know, I asked them so many questions, you know, because I was like, how many chances am I going to get to basically get, free guidance from, members of the New York Phil. And, yeah, I didn't really play for them one-on-one, but the amount I learned from asking them about, the business and everything was definitely invaluable, for sure. Well, actually, when I was at Rice, I went to my teachers and I was like, look, I'm going to be playing with the New York Philharmonic very soon. I want to be at a level that I'm not just passing by, I want to be at their level, so like, can we do whatever I need to do, whatever it takes, I'll do it, so I think I started holding myself to a different standard. I think they held me to a different standard. So I started just playing better because of that. It wasn't like, oh, it's okay, I can make mistakes, I'm a student, this is the time to do it. No, it wasn't like that anymore. It was like, I'm, in the New York Philharmonic, I need to start playing like this, and, I know I'm not in the New York Philharmonic, but holding myself to that level, if, one day I do end up in that orchestra or a similar caliber orchestra, it won't be hard because I do it all the time. The Academy has helped me grow up a lot, not even just as a musician, but as a person too. It's kind of difficult to explain, but, you have to be very on top of the schedule here. And, no one really is going to hold your hand. And because it's a summer festival, the interactions that you make can be very, like, you just have to adjust quickly to meeting a lot of different people and working with a lot of different personalities, because there's always people who don't get along and people who get along great, So it's just learning to kind of deal with that all in a professional way, and I've grown up a lot over the past 3 years. My playing has changed, my personality has changed, and it's definitely a lot of growing up has been done at the Music Academy, partially with the help of my compeers. Connie and Evan have done so much for me, and they're always like, my summer parents. They keep me in check, so it's really nice. I've had some really fun concerts here. I've played a lot of like intense standard music that I've always wanted to perform, and playing here with the festival orchestra and great guest conductors has been extremely fun. I mean, practice hard, because if you get in here, it's totally worth it. The orchestra is one thing, but I mean, living in Santa Barbara for 2 months is pretty nice as well. The faculty is great. What's so unique about Music Academy is that there are lessons and master classes, and the master classes are public, which in some way kind of puts a little more pressure on you to deliver, because it's not just for your teacher and your student or your fellow peers, and so whatever you do, needs to be more of like a performance instead of like a help, I'm struggling with this, can you help me get better kind of thing. So it's really great. Well, I can say definitely Music Academy has changed my life. I mean, getting this New York Philharmonic opportunity has, it's changed everything. Because of it, I ended up getting a trip to Berlin for 2 weeks, fully paid, from Rice. I won this award, and, like having the New York Phil Global Academy on my resume was a big factor, in getting that. I've gotten many calls for, students, teaching gigs, jobs, all this stuff. So, I mean, it has changed my life.